Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Glenn Martin, and he is the director of In the Shadows. And as you can see on his background, he has other projects that are in the works or that have been out, Cemeteries and the Cryptid Reports, the Apocalyptic, and a bunch of other stuff that we're going to get into. But how you doing, Glenn?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you reached out. If I'm not mistaken, Lance asked you to reach out to me.
Actually, in the shadows, my killer, Brian Saponis,
Oh, okay.
he got me a hold into the Lance because of the Horror Nation.
Yeah.
Then Horror Nation led to Lance. Then Lance got a hold of me to put it on Horror Nation, and he got a hold of you. Or was it Brian? I think it was Lance though.
It was
Lance,
probably Lance. Lance
yeah,
sends a lot of people that he writes articles for regarding their films. He throws my way to interview and get the word out some more, and I love to do it. And I was on hiatus. I mentioned it before. I'm like I'm on hiatus right now, but
yeah.
then I kind of got the bug to do more interviews, but not as frequent because I'm in grad school, my last year of grad school. So with that and working full time and also teaching grad school, on top of it to pay the tuition, it's been so much going at once. So I'm like, I'll do a couple of interviews, but I'll do maybe two a week.
Actually, I was going through your YouTube to see who you interviewed before, just
Hmm.
getting a heads up. And actually, Madison is in the shadows.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a little part, but I mean, I wanted to get a bigger part, but we just didn't have a lot of time to add
Right.
more to it. So, but yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Cheney Morrow, he's in my Bigfoot movie called The Searching.
Nice.
Yeah, he plays a television anchor or whatever you want to call him, doing an interview to my
Nice.
I see it. So, yeah, but it's
That's
not
awesome.
on my background. This is just what's out now is In the
Okay.
Shadows, then Cemeteries. I'll let you ask the questions, but go for
Not a
it.
problem. But I guess let's start off with giving everybody more of a background about you and let them know how did you get your start into filmmaking?
Well, I was a senior in high school and they did a movie. That's back in '84.
Hmm.
Um, they did a movie called Mischief. It
Okay.
had Doug McKeon. He was in on the Golden Pond. These are older movies there, but
Hmm.
he was young. But had Chris Nash, that's who I became friends with and got going in this business. And then Catherine Mary Stewart was also in it.
Hmm.
And Kelly Preston, John Travolta's wife that
Yeah.
passed. Yeah, she was also in it. And Jamie Gertz from
Hmm.
Lost Boys, the
Okay.
girlfriend. Yeah. So that's how I got basically the bug, I guess. Yeah.
Once you get bit by that bug, you're done for. You're stuck in acting, it seems like.
Well, I like writing. I mean, I get crazy
Hmm.
ideas and then I just do it. And that's
Hmm.
how I got motivated. I had that kind of gift, I guess you can say, because people that
Hmm.
are around me when I'm doing this stuff, like, man, how'd you come up with that? I said, heck, I don't know. It just pops in out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, you told me the story about cemeteries before we started filming,
Yes.
about and how it was picked up by Lionsgate. So, do you want to let the viewing audience know about that actually crazy story with the pandemic?
Well, I'm friends with Matthew Berry. He's a Hollywood casting director.
Hmm.
He casted The Notebook, the Rush Hour movies, Con Air,
Hmm.
Alpha Dog. He's really good friends with Nick Cassavetes, who's the director of
Hmm.
all. Well, I don't think he's director of Rush Hour. It's Ratner, but yeah. So him and Ron Wells, they got a partnership in the
Hmm.
productions, and they took it and they said, well, it's a go. And then COVID hit, and it kind of slowed all that down. Which gave me a chance to do all these things that are behind me right now.
Right.
So I got all them prepared myself. So that's on the back burner, and the cemetery is what you're talking about. That's based off of a true story. I'm from
Okay.
Ohio, Southeast Ohio, and there's a town called Athens where Ohio University is. And it back in the 1800s, there was a judge,
Hmm.
and when he was sentencing somebody to die, there wasn't no waiting. They took you from the
Wow.
courtroom, took you to the cemetery, hung you in his tree, and then buried you right there in the cemetery.
Wow.
So the urban legend is that he haunts that place. So
Okay.
you go up there, he chases you out, kind of thing.
Wow.
So that's how I got to do that. Of course, so many copyrights and things like that where you can't talk about a real live person, but we changed little things up. But it's like The Conjuring, except I think I'm going to make it more, I guess when they're possessed and all that, make it
Hmm.
more like The Exorcist type possession.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm old school, Like I don't know if anybody's seen my In the Shadows trailer. At the end, it says Resurrection of Classic Horror. That's what I
Right.
wanted. I'm not nothing against what's going on now. I just think the older classic horror movies is just awesome,
Yeah.
and I don't want
Yeah.
that to go away. So
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm like my favorite horror movie ever is Halloween, the original, not
me too.
the Rob Zombies, not the 2018. It's the 1978 classic from
Yes,
John Carpenter. Great movie.
yes,
And
yes.
there's no blood. It's like
That's what
it's
In the
that's what
Shadows.
makes it scary. Like the scary part isn't the fact that he's killing people, it's the stalking, the psychological thriller of this man that escapes from a mental hospital
Yes.
coming after these babysitters and just stalking them. That can really happen. It does happen.
Well, I tell you what, In the Shadows. That's what. Well, that's Halloween. I just love the way John Carpenter did because my
Mhm.
movie. It's like the same thing in the shadows. It's not a bloodbath. It's of course he shows a little bit on the sister at the beginning, just wiped all over
Mhm.
her chest or whatever blood,
Right.
and then the one where he got the his outfit, the
Mhm.
tow truck driver guy, a
Yeah.
little bit of blood on him. That's the only time you see blood in Halloween. I
Mhm.
mean, it wasn't like Friday 13th. It's like slashed and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Which I did research on John Carpenter, like like his ideas, and
Mhm.
he just plain out says blood's not scary.
Right.
It really isn't. The imagination's
Mhm.
scary.
Yeah.
But when you're seeing something, he's stabbing the guy to the wall. You're thinking, "Oh
Yep.
my God," So yeah, that's me. That's what I like too. I like
Nice.
people that let the watchers say, "Oh wow, I can't imagine what that looked like." You really don't have to show them; they can just
Yeah.
visualize. So now In the Shadows is based off of the Town that Dreaded Sundown, not that
Okay.
because they went off the original story. And I watched it when I was a kid, and I was like, "Wait, where's part two? Part two never came, and then they did a remake copycat. And after I watched that, I was like, nah, I've got to write the true thing. So I went
Mhm.
off the original story, which he never got caught. And then if you see my trailer, it shows some clippings where across the
Nice.
nation there were similar cases of what happened in Texarkana. So
Okay.
that's how this trailer it opens and the movie opens is the Phantom Killer.
Okay.
And then it kind of tells you in the trailer that the grandson hears the girl scream, runs up to this, and he sees the grandfather, the Phantom Killer, kill a girl. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's where it's kind of born of the new generation of the Phantom Killer. It's his grandson. So
Nice. Yeah, that's great. And you have also the apocalyptic. You were telling me also before we started recording that it's like a TV series. So what is the apocalyptic about? Is it out yet? When do we can we
no,
expect to see it? Where?
That's another TV show. Um, well, me and some of my people, we have an idea. What we're going to do is, you know how Paramount Plus, it's the only place you can
Hmm.
really see Yellowstone,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
So we're thinking that we're going to have a Nightmare streaming,
Okay.
so show all of my movies. So we're going to put In the Shadows on there. Right now it's on Amazon Prime,
Hmm.
but we're going to have it on our own and then bring out the cryptid reports, which is like the X-Files, and Apocalyptic is
Hmm.
like I told you, The Walking Dead on steroids.
Yeah.
It it's they're fast, strong, like I Am Legend type zombies and the World War Z. And but there's no restrictions. They're not afraid of the daylight, not afraid of anything. They're everywhere. So it's almost like a quiet place. How
Okay.
you have to be really quiet because they got sensitive ears too.
Hmm.
So if they hear you, they're going to catch you. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. So that's going to be a TV series, and then like I say, the cryptid reports. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of your questions, but
No, you're fine.
it's it's uh it's the X-Files, except this is and X-Files and Supernatural kind of mixed together because
Right.
got an FBI, the cryptid uh, division, which there isn't one, but they create it.
Hmm.
And when there's a Bigfoot sighting, that's where they'll go check out, see what's going on, maybe cover it up or get the truth. And every one of the episodes has a twist to it.
Okay.
So I won't give anybody the twist, but yeah, so something
Right.
happens on each one of them. And they're really trying to find it. And, I'm going to try to keep it as real as possible where, because there's a lot of people out there that believe, and I'm one of them.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of people that don't. So, you can both sides can look at it and, have fun and get entertained.
Right.
So And then you got the Dog Man, you got the Mothman, you got Champ, like the Loch Ness Monster it's up in Vermont,
Hmm.
uh, Chupacabra, and I even got Paranormal. They go investigate the
Yeah.
paranormal too. So,
Nice.
and this is going to be a scary TV series. This ain't just going
Okay.
to be a regular drama, whatever. I
Mhm.
won't scare people with it. So,
Nice. I like TV series as well where the ending is off of a cliffhanger because that makes you want to watch the next episode. I always hate it when a TV series like gives you like and then it's like you want to watch the next episode because you like the show, but it's like
yes,
I'll get to it when I get to it because it didn't really catch me where really reel me
right.
in. And when you said that there's a twist after every episode, that really draws somebody in. That makes them want to say, like, where's that gonna go?
Yeah, I wish I could tell everybody, but I think they're gonna
Yeah.
like what they see because we haven't really put anything together as in a trailer. I've got a
Hmm.
sizzle reel I was going to use to go promote it out to LA and all that. Where
Hmm.
I got people who's going to do that for me, but we think this other route we're going to go is that we got 100% control.
Hmm.
Once you sell it, they're locked and you can't
Yeah.
touch them. And so, we don't have to worry about getting permission to do whatever we want to do. So we can go
Yeah.
film episode 2 the next week, get it done, and show it right anytime we want. We ain't waiting
Yeah.
2 or 3 or 4 months. So,
Right.
and we're going to make it really economically good for people that, the app's going to be just like you get a Tubi and download it, and you can go right in there, and then
Hmm.
you buy each whatever. So you can buy each episode, or we'll have a package where they get all the episodes of that
Okay.
season. So it's just something we're looking into, and if that works, I think it's beneficial for everybody actually,
Yeah.
people involved. So
And I mean, streaming is the way we go now. I mean, streaming is everywhere. And it all started with Netflix and oh, God rest their soul, Blockbuster.
yeah, I remember Blockbuster days.
Yes, it started with those two, and then Netflix just steamrolled everybody, and then you get the Hulus, and you get the Disney Pluses, and
Yes.
and then you get like the Tubies, and now we have film companies coming out with them, whether it's AMC Plus, and then like you mentioned, Nightmare, we can we'll be getting that, and I mean things like everybody's just coming out with it. It's just the way we're going now, and soon cable I think is going to be obsolete.
Yeah, because like you just mentioned Nightmare, that's the name of my company there
Hmm.
was for films, and that's what the site's going to be called is Nightmare as well, not Nightmare Films, but
Okay.
it'd be Nightmare. So
Okay.
uh but we got a website already, but it's kind of like generic. So we got a guy that's going to be upgrading it and putting. So in other
Nice.
words, when you go on this to stream, not the app, but the website, you can
Hmm.
go on there. You can download it there as well. You can watch.
Hmm.
You can rent it there as well. You can uh buy the DVD, Blu-rays, whatever shows we got.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So and then the one behind me there, see there, that's
Yeah, I was
Sacred.
just gonna. That was my next question about sacred grounds.
Yeah, that's a Western, So for your Bigfoot lovers out there, it's cowboys, Indians, and Bigfoot. So it's based back in the 1800s,
Nice.
and we're looking to get a really big actor to throw the lead. It's cowboys, and not a great actor. You can be a great actor, but not be a cowboy.
Right.
Look at Kevin Costner. You know,
Right.
he's just great. So, but and we had this thing ready to go, and we tried to get a big actor, an Indian actor, and it it didn't come into fruition, and
Mhm.
so we kind of stepped back, and then that's what I started doing in the shadows here.
Okay. Yeah, I had Ted White. He played Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 4, and
Mhm.
he passed away maybe a couple years ago. But he actually did a lot of westerns. He was a like a body double for John Wayne. which
Oh,
which was really cool when he mentioned that for in the interview with him, which I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like, some things that I'm interviewing him about Jason, and that to me is a big role because I'm a big Friday the 13th guy and a big horror guy. But when he tells me that he literally was a body double for John freaking Wayne,
that's cool.
that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you're talking about the Friday 13th, Jennifer
Mhm.
Banco.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in my In the Shadows.
Nice, nice. A funny story about Jennifer.
Yeah.
She was this is before I did interviews, and she lived in Hawaii,
Hmm.
and my parents went to Hawaii on vacation with a couple of family members and that, and I reached out to her. She's on my Facebook, and I reached out to her, and I asked her if I said, I'm not in Hawaii. I really wanted to be in Hawaii. I didn't know you lived there, but would it be okay if my mom and dad met you and got a picture? That would be really cool, like for me. And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, absolutely. I work at the Hard Rock Cafe. To have them come on down. So they went down there and met her, and then I got a phone call from my dad because he sent me the picture of it. And he called me, and I go, hey, Dad, that's all awesome that you got to meet her. And she goes, this is not your dad. And it was her calling me. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Yeah, Jennifer, I got in touch with Jennifer, my producer. You probably know her, Beverly Randolph.
Yes.
Yeah, Return of the Living Dead. Yeah, she's my
Yep.
producer in The Shadows, but she's actually acting and she's producer in The Searching, the Bigfoot movie.
Nice.
And the
Nice.
Bigfoot movie, I have Zach Galligan, Gremlins.
It sounds yes, I know who that is now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got Clint Howard.
Okay. I met
Do you
Clint
remember?
at a Monster Mania event.
Yeah, Clint's
Yep.
a good guy.
Yeah.
Um, but you ever heard of the movie called The Wraith with Charlie Sheen?
Sounds
Car
very familiar.
races these cars and kills them one at a time.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah, four of them guys, which is one's Clint Howard,
Okay.
and Chris Nash from Mischief was also in that. He
Okay.
he wore the varsity jacket with the white sleeves,
Yeah.
the red jacket, and then Dave Sherrill and James Bosey, and they were like two little nerdy guys in the
Mm-hmm.
car. One that shot the shotgun
Yeah.
and he went through the floorboards.
Yeah.
They're in my Bigfoot movie as well.
Okay. If
Yeah.
if you're looking for somebody for he does a lot of indie films. If you're looking for somebody to like a tall guy to do like a cowboy, I think Dave Sheridan would be your guy.
Who? Dave?
Dave Sheridan. He played Officer Doofy in Scary Movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know who.
Yes, he does a lot of indie films. He's very versatile, very funny, very comedic. But
Yeah.
he's tall and he would I think he would make a really good cowboy.
Yeah, I believe it or not, I get people all the time, man. I got to be in that Western, man. I got to be in that
Yeah,
Western. Yeah, so yeah, but you need more. More the better when you get
yeah,
into Western.
absolutely, you definitely do.
Yeah.
So what one like I know you said In the Shadows is available. When can we expect like the apocalyptic and the cryptid reports? Like, are they going to be out before Nightmare becomes a streaming service?
Well, that's the plan because we'd like to have three or four projects on our thing because we can
Hmm.
go and get Halloween and all and like all the rest of them do and put on,
Yeah,
but it's we want to try to keep it original kind of
yeah,
thing. So that's all we got to worry about is our little thing there, and of
yeah.
course, once it grabs legs, like
Hmm.
put it this way, I just put a poster, not that poster of the cryptid reports this way.
Hmm.
I put one with the actors that I had playing it,
Right.
and I put it on a cryptid page on Facebook, and people was asking, when can I see this? Because they all got all excited because X-File fans especially, and then
Yeah,
of course you got the cryptid fans, and you will have horror fans just in general that's going to want to watch it. So
yeah.
I think it's going to be something really big, and it's so we can get the pilots made for the apocalyptic and the
Hmm.
cryptid. We throw that on there and see what our response is. People say, "Oh, I love the pilot." Then we can jump in and say episode two is available in 2 months or whatever. How long it's going to take to
Hmm.
make the pilot? Because a pilot's only going to be like 40 minutes, so
Right.
it ain't gonna take as long as making a regular movie, feature movie.
Right.
So we get that, and we what our big plan is that we're gonna either go get sacred grounds or cemeteries made at the same time. We can throw
Right.
three or four of them on there, and then people can say, "Wow, I want to see that. I want to see that." So, and you don't have to worry about trying to get a distribution deal.
Right.
So that's it's all about word of mouth. Like if I
Hmm.
can bring on my cast, so I can bring on people then from the pilots, and then from the movies,
Yeah.
and then we can talk it up and get it out there.
Absolutely. So what do you like see being the hardest part about like starting up Nightmare, the streaming service?
It's the financial part because
Hmm.
I just to get a app and get it on there, it's like 25 grand at that minimum.
Yeah.
So that's a minimum, and then you got to have the we get the web page built up. So you're probably
Yeah.
looking at around 40 to 50,000 just to get it all
Yeah.
up and running, and
Yeah.
then it's according to what actors you're going to have, and it's kind of nice having Matt in the corner because he can
Yeah.
get my actors and let them know what our budget is and
Right.
bring them on and go out and shoot. I don't know, maybe 10 days or whatever. Shouldn't take that long to do it. And we go from there. And once that happens, boom. So if there are any investors, whatever, just go to Nightmare Films at
Yeah.
gmail.com and you can leave me a message or whatever contact information and we can talk. But that's what I'm getting ready to do next
Yeah.
week. I'm going to be going out and we're going to be talking to people and I have a few money people I can go talk to, but
Good.
yeah, but you know, I would like to get an investor to come in and say, hey, I want I want to help you film these movies.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of the platform. So your one-time budget spend is gonna it's done. Then you let the
Yeah.
movies pay for himself.
Absolutely, and I'm a web developer. That's
Oh,
my
you
that's my
are.
that's my living. Yeah, that's I do
I
do
didn't
that for.
know that.
Yeah, I work for the U.S. Coast Guard doing that. So, yeah, it isn't cheap, especially to host. To host it, and then you have to make sure you have enough storage on the servers and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
It can't, and then of course you got to pay your developers, and if you want them to maintain it or upload it, or do you do it yourself type of thing. It isn't easy. But yeah, that's my trade by living. I do that, and that's what I'm get my master's in, just so I can have more experiences and everything. And that way, if maybe that could help me with the Coast Guard, maybe that'll get me into a GS position type of thing.
Now, can you do apps and all that kind of stuff?
I actually never did a mobile web app until last semester, and I just learned, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I
Oh,
picked it up
really? See,
easily. Yeah.
that
That,
what we don't have yet.
yes.
I got to get the website done first, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. If
And
if you need anybody, just give me a holler.
okay, well, I don't have well, that's what I'm saying. We want people to go onto the website
Yeah.
and be able to buy, rent,
Yeah. Absolutely.
whatever right
Yeah.
off of it, not just the app.
Right. Absolutely.
Because you can go on our website because you'll be able to buy t-shirts, mugs, all those kind of things
Right.
you'll buy at a convention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I have nobody ever asked me, hey man, won't you invite me? I'm not saying I'm some big celebrity or anything, but you know,
Right.
a lot of things gonna be happening
Mm-hmm.
to a convention. I got all
Yeah.
my actor friends, they go all the time. I was like, wait, how come nobody's asking me to go?
Yeah.
Especially horror. I mean, I'm a horror guy. I mean, come on, Nightmare Film. So, so
Absolutely. I
yeah,
agree. Yeah. I mean I made a really good web app using JavaScript and React JS, which was we had to make like an e-commerce store, and I made
yeah.
a really good one. It was a retro video game store type of thing, and I that was a lot of fun. Basically you can buy video games, and you can add to the quantity, it will tell you your total, you could check out, and they'll give you a confirmation number, all that fun stuff. So that was really cool. I enjoyed making that, and yeah, I mean, something like that would be great because that way people can buy your DVDs or Blu-rays or
Yes,
whatever of that, or if you have merchandise for Nightmare, they could buy your T-shirts or
yes.
your pens or anything, coasters, mugs, things like that they could buy, and it's good to have your own site because that's free advertising. You know,
Exactly. And
Uh,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. So that's the whole thing. It's all about marketing, you know,
Hmm.
getting it out there to people. And I think once they see the product, like in the shadows, I mean,
Yeah.
you like Friday 13th, you like Halloween. This is right up everybody's alley because
Yeah.
he's the next Michael Myers, Harlan Hatcher. He's the next, you know, the
Right.
family killer, but it's his grandson. He's the next
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
And and my composer Edward Grant, he's out in New York, and he's just phenomenal. And
Hmm.
he's putting the score in it. Well, he put the score in it
Hmm.
that would make you think, wow, this has got the Halloween feel. Oh, hey, it's got a little
Hmm.
bit of that just in
Yeah.
it. And that's the thing is the town of Dread is Sundown, and that's why I'm making sure people don't know this ain't part two of that. This is
Right.
part two of the true story. If he never got
Right.
caught, what happened to the guy? They never caught
Right.
him. Well, because he could have been the Zodiac killer because you know he wore a white hood with the eyes and stuff in it. Remember Zodiac Killer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not was it Zodiac Killer or was it, I think it's Zodiac Killer.
The
But it,
Zodiac Killer. Yeah.
yeah, he could have, but he could have been a lot of these different murder
Yeah.
going across the country. You know, he gets on, you get out of the
Yeah.
kitchen, right? So, and that's what came up when I wrote it. I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't when I first did, I wasn't going to go down that true story. I was just going to
Hmm.
keep it separate, my own little thing. But
Hmm.
everybody's saying, "Hey, you need to go down that route, man, because that's what people is going to get turned on." They're like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
I like the Phantom Killer," you know, Talon Dread
Yeah.
Sons. But I think people. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's up everybody's alley if you like a slasher horror movie,
Yeah.
minus the
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean it only takes one character to turn into a cult classic. I mean, look at
Yes,
Art the Clown. I mean, he became this instant classic, but it wasn't really an instant. It was over the course of years, but eventually it caught on.
yes,
So, it only takes one movie to make you. Only
yes.
one.
That's it. Yeah, even
So
though this is my fourth, but yeah,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it. So would you? So I'm guessing you rather go the investor route. Have you ever thought of something like Indiegogo to raise funds?
I've never tried it. I wouldn't even know where to go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well,
got pitch decks. I got everything that I would need to do that, but I just
right.
never. I guess it's time consuming, and
Yeah, it
I
is.
hate waiting for things. I'm a go-getter.
And the thing with Indiegogo as well is that people donate, they get perks. Now
Yeah.
you have to obligate all of these people's perks, and
Yes.
sometimes movies either don't get made at all after they donate it because something fell through,
Hmm.
or there's delays. Or
Yeah.
but filmmaking is a time consuming thing. It can take a couple years depending on how much needs to be done, and then these people are waiting and asking and bugging where their perks are, but it could take a while for them to get them because how do you get a Blu-ray if the movie isn't finished and
Well,
out?
that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing is that,
Yeah,
you got to have a good plan. If you got a
yeah,
good plan, investors will jump on because the streaming platforms, it's like almost $1 trillion business every year.
yeah,
And it's almost, and if you got a good product, which I think I have here with these movies and these
yeah,
shows behind me, is you invest in this platform,
yeah,
that's going to be very lucrative. So
absolutely.
yeah, so that's why you have a pitch deck. So I
Yeah,
got pitch decks for all my movies, and I already got one made. So
yeah,
we're already in the door of getting an ad out there to say,
hmm,
look, guys. So if you bring in 100,000, million, or whatever people onto your
yep,
platform, you're in the door. You're
yeah,
making money.
absolutely.
And if it wasn't for me wanting to go, man, I want to get these other ones made. I hate
Hmm,
wasting time, like I said.
hmm,
So if I have an investor come in and say, hey, what's it going to take to get all these made?
yeah,
Now we're talking. So
yeah,
now we ain't going out trying to get Paramount to go throw it on their platform where they make all the money.
yeah.
It's our platform and we make the
Yeah.
money. So
And I completely agree with that. You might be starting small, but like you
yeah,
said, word of mouth. That's the old-fashioned way of marketing. All it
yes,
takes is if you want to do it really cheap, all you got to do is go on Facebook, go onto your fan page or wherever you do your promotion, create an advertisement for a lifetime budget of $20 and have that reach out, and then their friends will reach their friends and they'll reach their friends. All
yes,
it costs you is $20, and all of that now
yes,
the word of mouth is spreading between them. Oh, did you see In the Shadows by Nightmare? Oh my God, that was so good.
yes.
You know?
That's exactly it. And that's the hard part is reaching out to all the millions of people just in
Yeah.
our country because this platform's gonna go all around the world. We're gonna
Yeah.
put it in every place.
Yeah.
So it's smart business,
Yeah.
and you're not relying on somebody.
Yes.
You follow me? So
Yep.
when you go through Amazon, you got to wait 3 months to first of all get your money, and then you got to
Yeah.
hope they're actually giving all your money. So
Yep,
you
I know. With my books, my royalties of the books that I wrote that are on Amazon, even through my the publishing company that I went through that also put on Amazon. Like I have to wait, like like my big months for my books because they're horror books is October, September, October, November, and December because of Halloween and Christmas. Those are
yeah,
my so those 4 months are my big ones. I usually do really good in October and December. Those are my two big ones. So when I get my December payout, I might be getting say $500 for the month of royalties. If I'm getting my $500 for the month of December, I won't get that until February.
right. Yes.
So I'm waiting 2 months just to get my Christmas, payout.
Yeah. Well, and it's good to have, like I said, Cassie, because I did a little podcast myself, but
Hmm,
I'm not a very good host. But I
hmm.
had Laura Park Lincoln on, and she
I
has her
had
own
her on. She's
casting thing.
amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to use her to help her get
Yeah,
some of her actors out, and I've got Matt
yeah,
Berry. He can give me the big Hollywood type people that
yeah,
people recognize because you got to have recognized people in your movies. You just
yeah,
do
yeah.
because a lot of people's going to the theater, for example. That's the first thing you do. Who's in that?
Right.
Oh wow, Mel Gibson. Oh, I'm gonna go see that. That kind of thing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, so
Yep.
name recognition is big in this business. So
Yeah.
now my nightmare came from, and you see my little emblem up there with the red
Yeah.
eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
That was Ron Wells. That's the guy I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
That's Matt's partner in their company,
Hmm.
and he made that, and he said, "Man, you need to get a catchy name."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay," because that's what's going to help. Because
Yeah.
I had a company, I still have a company, Buck Dog Productions. That's what I came out with, and
Hmm.
he goes, you think that's gonna make people want to go see your movie, Buck Dog? I said, he goes, no. He said, I said, all right, I like that to think about. So Nightmare, I seen Nightmare on something, I don't know what it was, but I'm like, wait, Night Martin. Then I took the T-I-N off because my last
Hmm.
name's Martin, Martin. So Nightmare, take the E off of Nightmare, and it kind of it's a little catchy, I think. So
I like that. I actually think that with Nightmare you can also market with tags and like, SEO optimization with Nightmare as well because
yes,
people that search Nightmare and then when you put Nightmare with on the website with Nightmare as well, you get
yeah,
people that are searching Nightmare and Nightmare's coming up with it.
that's it. There you go.
So if somebody's
That,
because I'm one of those people that when I have a nightmare, what does that mean? What is that nightmare telling me? And you search for it, this nightmare, and
yeah.
then Nightmare will come up with it. Wait, Nightmare? What's that's interesting. I never seen that before. I want to see what that is, and they'll click it.
Well, see that's I mean
Proper
that's
optimization.
oh, exactly. But Ron's a smart guy, and he came up with that and told me how you
Oh,
can
it's
get that
perfect.
out there. It's like, oh my, that's exactly what I need.
Hmm.
And In the Shadows is almost a perfect movie to bring out at this point with this all this happening, is
Hmm.
because you got a true story,
Hmm.
the Phantom Killer, and then you've got the horror genre itself, the slasher. You got all that
Yep.
stuff, so you can put Town of Dread at Sundown. You can put the Phantom Killer. You can put
Yep.
Texarkana. You can put all these little tabs on there, and
Yep.
it's boom. It's at the top of the list. And just like, what's this? So and
Yeah.
because I brought out a trailer for In the Shadows, and it really wasn't catchy. And then I talked to I can't remember who I talked to, but he said, "Man, you need to make that little flash, bam, 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 with music."
Mhm.
And Edward is fabulous. And if you watch the trailer, it kind of starts out like a little story of what's going
Hmm.
on, and then you know that it's the grandson now, and now you show all of his killings
Yes.
and things that happen, bam, 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 bam. So oh, I gotta check this movie out. So yeah, so it's about you got to
Yeah.
catch their eye. So the opening
Exactly.
of this movie is what everybody's telling me that I already knew it was, but I couldn't come up with a word at first. I'm like, man, I don't know, it's really terrifying. No, no, what is this thing? I said, no, it's disturbing. It
Right.
really is disturbing,
Yep.
and the acting with uh actually Danielle plays. God, I'm sorry, Danielle. I'm trying to forget her last name, but Coyne, Danielle Coyne, her
Hmm.
husband is writing the remake for the Creature from the Black Lagoon,
Okay.
With James Wan.
Nice.
You know James Wan.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're
Yep.
writing. He's a partner with James Wan writing this thing. So that's really cool. And then I didn't know it when I got Danielle through uh Cheney.
Okay.
Because
Nice.
the opening of this thing, I had a couple that were camping because
Hmm.
I wanted that little, of course, 80s horror. They're always
Yeah.
camping on Friday 13th or whatever, so
Hmm.
always something like that. And then uh, Cheney couldn't get there that weekend we was going to do it, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh. So I went back and rewrote it, and now I got Danielle. She's the girl that's looking at him in front of the truck right there.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I needed an old truck, and my friend Chuck who's when you see the trailer, he's getting his face smashed against the wall by
Nice.
Harlan, the
Right.
grandson, when he's
Hmm.
escaping. And his uncle had this old 80s truck and I needed it and he brought it up. I was like, oh, great, perfect. So when you hear it coming up and stuff, it's got that, it's really cool. But Danielle was fabulous. And her and Brian Saponis, when we did her scene, it's just so realistic. I told
Nice.
Brian Saponis, you know Brian?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, and I told Brian after I got done editing the movie, and I said, Brian, without the FBI don't call me and say, "Where's this girl at?" Because I'm telling you, it looks that real. I'm not
Yep.
kidding. It's
Yep.
pretty. It's disturbing. I guess that's the word. It's and they did. It was perfect, just like
Yeah.
I wrote it and had in my head. It took, well, different angles and stuff, but one take every time. It was, and then I told Brian that's enough. He goes, no, I need one more. He did it again. So yeah, it worked
Yeah, I,
good.
I love when you get to like have those Easter eggs of like having like your own cars or whatever in your movie. I know in every movie I've done that like for my company, we like I have a really old car. Like not really old, I wouldn't say that old, but it's like 2011, so it's like,
Mhm.
old.
Yeah,
And it's not the nicest car out there, but in my movies, like you see that old car, somebody driving, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it becomes that joke of there it is, there's that car, it's in that
yeah.
movie. You're expecting it in every movie you're doing.
I don't know how far you go back with movies and stuff, but a
We
lot of
just
people talk
started
about.
our first movie came out in 2020. Actually, the pandemic hit us as well. We were our first movie was filmed in 2019. We're
Okay.
releasing it and we're having our premiere in literally the week COVID shut everything down. So we moved our premiere to July 2020. We were able to do it with very, very strict provisions.
Yeah.
But our and then our movie was going to come out in October. And it was going to
Oh,
be in like it was you know small budget movie, but it was supposed to be in like maybe 18 to 20 theaters around Pennsylvania. And I live in Baltimore now, but at the time I was in Pennsylvania. It was supposed to be in like maybe 20 or so theaters, 18 to 20 theaters, and COVID shut all those theaters down.
I know.
There was only
Yeah.
one theater that was left open. It was local to us, so they were able to show it. But when people were sitting and watching it, it had to be every other row, every other seat. So we couldn't even do a full. We had a full sellout, but it really wasn't a full sellout because there was still empty seats every other seat and every other row. So we could have made a lot more money if COVID didn't really, pretty much knock us down.
Wow. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is how far back does your movie? Are you an 80s guy? Can you remember the
Oh
80s?
yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, the first movie I've seen was Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, when I was like 8 years old, seven
Hmm.
years old. And I remember when I first spoke to Lar Park Lincoln on Facebook, I told her this, and she started yelling at me, "Mr. McCoy, I would never let my daughter watch it at 8. How could you?" And we
Well,
became friends ever since, and I love her to death. And now she calls me Slasher Dude.
my actors in here, my bigger actors, and you ever seen Fast Time at Ridgemont High?
Yes, that was one of my dad's favorite movies.
Well, you remember Damone, the ticket scalper?
Yep.
Yeah, he's the guy that's asked. That's Damone.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one saying, "How'd you let this happen?" You walk
Okay.
out the front door. That's Damone.
Okay.
And then when we show him talking about Harlan to the guy sitting down, that's
Hmm.
Michael Pere, Eddie and the Cruisers.
Okay.
You've seen
I
that?
seen that like one time years ago.
Well, he was the
I
singer.
don't remember that one that much.
Well, he's in Lincoln Lawyer,
Didn't see that one.
Matthew McConaughey, Gone with Amanda Seyfried with her sister's missing. They don't believe her.
I think I seen that one.
Well,
That one sounds familiar.
he's the detective, the lead guy in that.
Okay.
But you see him, you'll know who he is when well,
Okay.
he's in there.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. Yeah.
But my young actress who plays, and like I say, when I wrote it, I had Halloween in my mind. I know
Hmm.
it's always a girl that's getting chased, and every one of
Yeah,
Friday
that's
13th, there's a
exactly what I
girl.
did for my first movie. It was literally Halloween to the T, down to the budget.
Yes. Well, I had my two lead young ladies in it,
Uh-huh.
and I had them. I basically had to gut feeling that, not saying one's better than the other, but
Yeah.
one fit this character and one fit this character. And
Uh-huh.
Georgia Simmons plays, I guess you can say, the Jamie Lee Curtis, the Laura Strode.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's who Harlan's after because that's his step,
Nice. Nice.
and because they ruined his life. That not
That's
her,
awesome.
but the dad was having an affair with the mom. That's what started the whole
Mhm.
argument. So
Okay.
anyway, and Julia, dang it, Julia Riley plays her best
Okay.
friend.
Okay.
And they're kind of like the oh my God, what's her name? The one that gets oh my God, in Halloween.
Nancy Loomis.
No, the one Google giggles all the time.
Oh, PJ Souls.
PJ Souls, yes.
Yep.
And Julia's kind of like that
Hmm.
character a little bit. So,
Okay.
and of course the boyfriend, stuff like that. Yeah, actually
Hmm.
in the trailer you see Harlan standing in the window looking down at
Okay.
him. But of course you got to watch it to see what
Yeah.
happens. But yeah, so it's got a good story and it's its own story. It's not Halloween story. It's not
Nice.
Friday 13th story. It's its own, and but it has that feel, and that's
Yeah.
what people like. I
Yeah.
read comments. I read comments from people that see the new Halloween movies, the new
Yeah.
Friday 13th, and a lot of people always say, "Man, why don't they make them like they used to?"
Yeah.
Well,
See,
guess what?
I'm the type of person that loves a creative death scene. I love a creative death scene, especially one that is never before seen.
Yep.
So that like my first movie, the one I was hell bent on, and we filmed that to the T. I loved it. We ended up drowning a girl in a bowl of cereal, milk, and everything. And
Oh,
that was one I was hell bent on because that wasn't really done before. Another one, we kill these two people a different way, and then we end up you see the killer literally putting them on the porch of the main character, and he
Mhm.
he literally turned them into human scarecrows,
Oh wow.
hay and everything. But that was a pain in the ass to clean up. We had this like Velcro type of of like carpeting on the porch, and of course the actor that's playing our killer wants to torture us. So after he stuffs them up, he gets the hay and he's throwing it all around, and now we're trying to sweep this hay, and this hay is not coming off.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Well, I'll tell you
absolutely.
that, I you've seen the Taylor Dread Sundown, right? The original.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I wanted to do a corn stalk just to
Oh,
do it.
yeah,
Because it's so good.
yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool when they did the remake of it, and they actually showed I noticed I had a drone up there
Okay.
showing them going through the stocks. One was going this way, and then the girl was going this
Mm-hmm.
way. That was
Yeah,
pretty. That's a pretty creative thing. So
yeah.
I didn't write it in because for one, it's not easy to find a really. I mean, I'm in Ohio, but there's corn stalks, but make sure because I
Yeah.
watched a interview with Charles P. Pierce for
Mm-hmm.
that, and he had to pay I think it was 10 cents or something like that for each corn stalk they break.
Dang.
I mean, that's a lot of money back then, 70s. So,
Yeah, and it
you
adds
know,
up. If you break,
yeah,
30 corn stalks.
yeah. So Mary Ann, the girl from Gilligan's Island, played Dawn
Uh-huh.
Wells, played in that. She's the
Yeah.
one in the corn stalks, and
Okay.
she was saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's what they'd say. Don't break the stalks. Don't break the stalks." So yeah,
Oof.
yeah, so yeah, that's a lot of things. I didn't want to copy another scene, so all my
Right.
kill scenes are original, and
Good.
people's going to be like, "Oh, wow, that's cool."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Great.
you'll see. I mean, it's really, really cool. But yeah. So if people are, I'm just letting people know that if you think this is going to be on Tubi or any of them places, it probably never will be.
Okay.
It's just because, I think they pay you pennies on the dollar
Yeah.
for every time somebody watches it. So
Right.
you want a penny or do you want five
And you
dollars?
can't, and when you have it on there as well, you don't get whatever they give you. It's not much, but whatever they
No.
give you, it's you don't get it until they watch a certain amount of the movie straight through.
Yes.
Like it has to be a certain amount. I think it's like maybe 10% or something like that,
It's bad.
give or
It's
take.
it's
It's yeah, so you have
it,
to watch
it,
10% of the movie in order to get what you get. So if your movie really isn't that good, you're not making anything to begin with because
but even if
nobody's
it's
gonna watch
great,
it. Yeah,
you're not getting anything because
right.
you're making somebody else rich.
Yeah,
That's just a fact.
yeah,
And people, I mean, I know a lot of people don't have the means or don't have the ideas, don't have
yeah,
projects maybe that I
yeah,
feel that I have, but you gotta get lucky. You gotta get that
yeah,
one person that comes in and says, "Hey, let's do all of these.
yeah.
Let's go make this thing big." And that's all it
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah.
But you got to have the right thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So the last question I do got for you is
Okay.
just basically all about you. Anything that you want to promote? I mean, we've been talking about the movies, we talked about Nightmare, but like social media, of course, nightmarefilms.com, nightmarefilms.com. I'm even saying nightmare. Or anything
Right.
else that you want to promote to the listening and viewing audience.
No, just get out there and spread the word. I mean, if you watch In the
Yeah.
Shadows and you like it, tell your friends because that one friend can turn into 10 more friends, and
Yeah.
those 10 friends can turn into 100 friends, and then a
Yeah.
100 friends turn into 10,000 friends. So
Exactly.
it's like old times. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to find it in the internet world.
Hmm.
You got to type in what you're looking for. It just
Yeah.
don't come. I mean, if you want to go through streaming, going through 10,000 movies trying to see what you want to watch, that can take
Right.
a day. So two
Yeah.
days or whatever. So yeah, I'm on Facebook with my Nightmares, and I got my movies, all my movies, even these
Hmm.
ones up here. Well, the Cryptid don't have its own. I think the Apocalyptic does. But uh, and if you follow me, you don't have to be my friend, but if you want to follow me or whatever, uh,
Hmm.
I always post updates with everything I do,
Awesome.
and because these people that are waiting for this cryptid, the cryptid thing is something that I just put a poster out there and they went crazy. They're
Yeah,
like,
it sounds
wow.
really good too.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, I'm not being biased here, but I think I think people like Westerns. You're really going to
Hmm.
like it. So don't let the Bigfoot thing get in your way. But I went off of like kind of like people that like dinosaurs. They go to look for bones and stuff. You
Yeah.
know, back in the 1800s, they said Bigfoots and Indians were, one and the same. So, and there's a nice story behind it. It's a good thing. I
Okay,
think people,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, that sounds like a plan. Anything else you got to promote?
No, I would. I mean, it's up to you. I don't know. I mean, I know your time restrained, but
Yeah.
I think if you talk to Brian did Wolf Hollow. Um,
Yes, I know
it-
Wolf Hollow. My good friend Mark Cantu is the director. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I like helping other guys. I want my
Yeah.
actors and other friends. This business, I think a lot of people, if you get rid of your pride, don't
Yeah.
get jealous because somebody has something good because you can do something good too. You
Yeah.
just got to try to top him. So if everybody helps each other in this business, everybody succeed. But you don't
Absolutely.
help talk about. That's why I'm talking about Wolf Hollow, man. People go watch it, man. Brian's a great actor, and he's
Yep.
playing the wolf one.
Mark Cantu is an amazing human being,
Yeah,
amazing director, amazing filmmaker, amazing person. So definitely check that out. I have yet to see it, and I'm ashamed to say that, but that is on my list for Halloween this year. So it's definitely going to be watched in October.
yeah. And I think uh Beverly would love to come on and talk to you. All these
Yeah, that'd
guys.
be great.
And Robert Romanus, that's Damone. I mean, the
Yeah.
guy he's just an awesome dude. He's really cool.
Yeah, get me their information. I know Beverly, but I don't think she's on my friends list. I think she might have been maxed out when I tried to add her the one time. So,
Go on mine. You can just click on her. I can tell her to add you
okay.
too.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Michael Pere, great guy. I mean, he's
Awesome.
great. These are great actors. So it's just because he's not. These people aren't Tom Cruise and all that.
Right.
These guys done big things,
And
and
you
people.
even looked at my interviews before. Like I have
Yeah.
some big names. I have a Terry Kaiser. I have a D Wallace. But then I have not so many big names that are in the indie industry trying to make a name for themselves. I love helping the little guy out. I'm the little guy as well. You
Well,
know what I mean? I
we
like to
all
help.
are. It's
We
a big
all
world
are.
out there.
Yes, and I like to help them out. I don't need A-list celebrities to
No,
promote. I want
you
to
don't.
help the industry out because it's the right thing to do, and these people need a platform to speak on because like the Bleacher Report and Variety and all that. Those are going to interview the big names, whereas the little guys, the indie actors, the ones trying to make a name for themselves,
Yeah.
they need a platform to
Yeah.
speak and to promote themselves.
Well, that's the thing. It's like filmmakers out there. You
Yeah,
watch my movie. You like the movie, or if you don't like the movie, watch my actors. Because
right.
I'm telling you, Georgia Simmons, great. She's got that little bit of Elizabeth Shue
Hmm.
look, but she's a great actor. All these
Yeah,
actors that you see in this movie, you might want them in your movie. That's
yeah,
what I'm saying. I watched Wolf Hollow. I was like, oh wow, damn, what Brian, you didn't tell me about this, So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
And
that's
and
it,
and
it helps
Spencer
everybody.
Madison is an amazing actress.
Oh, Madison, that's what I'm saying. Which had a big role because she's phenomenal.
She's phenomenal. I
And
had her on my show. She's absolutely amazing.
yes, and she's so intelligent. It's just
Yeah,
crazy. And
yeah.
but all these actors I get, it's word of mouth from other actors because they know, wow, this girl's good. The reason why I say that, and I'm not saying anything bad about somebody that isn't as good or
Hmm.
whatever, because it takes time to become a really good actress
It
or an
does.
actor.
Yeah, and it takes even longer if you don't go through the proper channels of acting coaching and acting school and acting classes and all that. If you go through the whole process like I did, where you're just basically like, oh, it'll be fun to make a movie. Let's make a movie. It'll be so much fun. You get your friends, you make a movie, and it's got a good story, but the acting isn't the greatest because you're not trained.
And that's what I'm saying. So, a lot
Yep.
I feel sorry for a lot of them, but you got to do what's best for your film
Yeah.
because people out there can tell somebody ain't up to par.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you know. You got this great film, but you got one
Hmm.
thing that's bad. That's what they're
Yeah.
going to talk about.
That's what they're going to talk about. Yep.
Yeah, they ain't going to talk
Same
about
thing with
how good
audio.
this.
Same thing with audio. Audio is a very important part of a film, and and the whole movie could be great, the plot could be great, the SFX could be great, the acting could be great, but if the
Yeah.
audio is really bad, it's like
Yes.
ah.
Yes. Well, that's Edward Grant, my composer I told you
Mhm,
about in New York. Yeah, he watched this and he's done a lot of, and he goes, Glenn, this thing is awesome.
mhm.
Because he told me about Shudder, which I didn't pay much
Right.
attention to Shudder, but I guess a lot of people do. It's like the horror
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
And he said this is better than anyone's on Shudder right now.
Yeah.
I don't think he said better, but it can be there for sure.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. He loves it, and it is pretty good. I mean,
Good.
it's a good movie. It's what I wanted when I wrote it, and I think people was going to be surprised at my killer because
Nice.
he don't care. So it's
Good.
yeah, and he
That's
has a
great.
reason.
And when you have a killer, they can't care. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people cheer for the Jasons and the Michael Myers, but it really makes a badass killer when you know that killer, like they're like, oh my God, he is the most evil thing I've ever seen.
Well, the thing is that he has chances to kill a person like that, but he don't. He's thinking he has a plan for him.
Fortress.
He's torturing the girl at the
Yeah.
same because he can walk right by the room. He knows she's there,
Hmm.
but he goes downstairs to scare her,
Yeah.
and it's pretty tense. People's going to watch and say, "Wow, where did this come from?"
That's great.
Yeah. So
Awesome. Well, thank you, Glenn, so much for joining me this evening.
okay, let me talk to you after we get off here.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be great. Well, thank you for for joining me. I'll have this up then tomorrow as well.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right. Yep.
guys.
Bye.